Bailey was a blessing. Instead of having just my two hands working all of the land, I had someone who shared a passion, was really a great listener, great to interact with. She wasn't afraid to ask questions. She wasn't afraid to try new things. And so I really missed her when she was gone.
Actually, recently, I went to St. Augustine. I was there in one of the nature trails or whatever, and I actually found one of the plants that I had seen in the gardens, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know what this is.
I started in my career here as an intern at the Sarasota Dolphin Research Program. And so one of my favorite things to do in my job now is to help facilitate these opportunities for students.
It really was kind of like a spiritual experience for me because I had spent so much time in a classroom and getting to know that's what's right off my campus. Expecting to see like giant rays and seahorses and lots of little pinfish.
The Orchid Show this year is about the centennial of the 19th Amendment passing, women's right to vote, and sort of how women have been reflected in botany. And I think that it's a really important thing to do, to research more, not the people that get researched, because there's so much that you can find if you look just a little bit harder. All of the prints are actually at the Ringling Museum, so we got to go there and handle these prints. It was really cool because I knew these women.
I think 2 out of the 4 of us had never heard a manatee call before, like in general. So first there was that learning curve, and then these manatees had never been recorded or listened to before. And I guess she decided that what she wants to do is actually publish what we've been working on. Eventually, you can read our paper.
We developed a really strong working relationship. Because she's so flexible, we have so many needs, we were able to kind of work within where she was really interested and where we really had needs and find where those two things blended together and sort of achieve mutual benefits. We were able to get down to deeper work quicker and really achieve some strong, solid outcomes for our organization, and that I think were mutually beneficial for her. Really willing to co-create with our organization. And that's really what we want to do and how we want to be. We want to be co-creating with people.
Redid a boat that was under Pritzker, that was rusted and broken, pressure washed her, sanded her, painted her, and named her grandma.
Yeah.
And
well, they're pretty fun to work with, but also their curiosity, their willingness to learn, really how confident they were feeling at the end. They took ownership of this project.
We have to learn how to live within the world. We've been at odds with nature for so long, and man's job has been to subdue nature, right, and convert it, and we realize that we're destroying the planet.
This project helps long-term with the red tide crisis that we have. These islands were implemented in hundreds of other ponds and lakes here in Florida. I think that would make a huge difference in the runoff and the nutrients that gets washed up into the ocean.
I really like working with a team and seeing the interactions between students, their complementary interests, and the way that they bring their diverse skills together to solve hard problems.
So now they're starting to see little things that they might not have noticed on day one, right? I've got full confidence. They can totally enroll with this thing. They're running through. They're like, yep, this is that, whatever. And then they're like, this one I don't think is quite exactly the same as the other one. And they'll show me. And it's like, wow, that's a really similar species, but there's this tiny difference. So good eye.
Going out to Sarasota Bay is actually, being on the boat is actually one of my favorite, because I've never been on a boat before this. That was my first time experiencing that. I'm a pre-medical student, so people would think, why are you here? But I thought marine science was really interesting because it's part of my community. I grew up here. I've always known Sarasota Bay, but I don't know anything about it. Because at the end of the day, it's part of our community. Yeah, it's part of Florida.
They're so interconnected with everything, with us, with the world. So it was just really cool to bring back the samples and see all these little tiny organisms just living their life.
I'll go out past the water and I just look and I get a greater respect for the water, because I realize that it's not just what you can see. There's things that you can't see that are also in the water that are also incredibly important to the environment.
I didn't even know it was there. So now I definitely feel like I'll be going to visit these places, and I'll be taking my friends, and we'll get to go and really see what Southwest Florida has to offer now that we know it's there. Getting to know your local area is really important for people who live there because it helps you improve your everyday life by taking action. And I think it's especially important for Sarasota because we are right on the bay, right there. So much of everyday life, it all has a huge impact on Sarasota Bay.
I did the best I could to capture the experiences of the interns and the supervisors of the program this summer. It was a real pleasure to be able to collaborate with so many different incredible people, studying so many different incredible, unique, varied topics. I learned a lot about the importance of local work in your community. It was a real pleasure to be able to see all the phenomenal work that's going on in Sarasota and Manatee County communities. There's so much, it's so diverse in such a small area. You don't need to go far to get a wonderful learning experience.